Okay, so I've taken off the front plate that covers up all of the little tips for each key, and they all look a bit ropey, which means that, as I thought, it would be best to change all of the tips. The ones that still have a tip intact basically sound, so I've got a light here so you can see. So the F is at the bottom, it still sounds because there's a tip. F sharp is missing most of its tips, so it's not doing anything. G is pretty disintegrated, but if you hit it hard enough it works. Looks like that key is slightly lazy too, so it might need a spring, returning spring changing in there, or maybe just a bit of greasing to allow the key to return back to full height. A flat's missing its tip. Up we go to A. It's got half a tip. B flat's pretty good. B's good. C is a bit ropey. I can see that the tip is beginning to go. C sharp's right. D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G. G sharp's missing most of its tip. If you hit that hard enough it will just about make contact and you can hear it's trying to do something. A, half a tip, so not entirely pure. A sharp, B flat, it's the same problem. B, C, C sharp. D's missing half its tip. D sharp's tip gone altogether. That one's got a bit of a tip on E, although it looks a little bit ropey to me. F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp's missing, D's missing, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D's missing, D sharp's missing, E's missing, E's got its tip, F sharp has a tip, but I'll come back to the reason for F sharp not doing anything in a second. G, G sharp, A's got a tip, but again not working. I'll come back to that. A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, and there we are at the top of the keyboard. So, going back to the problems with G. No, not G. F sharp and A sharp. Is that A sharp? No, beg your pardon, A. Looking further down here, there's evidence that the strings might have gone on F sharp and A at the top end of the clavinet. So that would be why neither of those are sounding. You see they've still got a tip. A's still got a tip. But I can see that F sharp and A here have evidence of broken strings right there. So when you lift the keyboard out to do the work on getting the tips renovated, the G spring might need some attention, might need to grease the joint, and at the same time you should have good access to restringing F sharp and A. As you can hear, there's the ground hum, as we've already discussed. Not entirely sure what that's all about, but I've found that if I wiggle that 1/4 inch jack instrument cable in its housing, it doesn't always like to make contact, so it could be just a case of this fitment here getting tight. But that's for an electrician to decide and not me. This is all currently apart so that we could get to all of this, and I'll put it back together now. Other than that, I think it's good to go. So, yep, as I say, lifting this keyboard out, there's access screws, and then you can get to the lower level of strings, renovate the keyboard tips, and you'll have a lovely working classic D6 clavinet.